This is the IFF TV podcast.
Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We are here for the match preview. Republic of Ireland taking on France on Monday, and I'm joined by TikTok sensation Jonathan Morley. Jonathan, how are you today?
What's up, Paul? How are you? I'm good.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, look, Liverpool aren't playing this week. You'd probably be happy to hear that, considering how they've been playing lately. But just in terms of obviously Ireland and France, we'll come to the French team in a minute. But how are you feeling after the game the other night, 3-2 against Latvia? Some positives, some negatives, obviously the goals. But what was your kind of overall thoughts on that game before we get stuck in?
To be honest, I was happy enough. I think kind of since Kenny has came in, just be happy with any win at all. And I'm not saying anything negative about Stephen Kenny, but he's obviously trying to change a lot, and Ireland are playing a lot differently than what they were under past managers. So as you said, Paul, I thought there was positives, I thought there was negatives. I thought for about a half an hour in the first half, Ireland looked really good going forward. A couple of problems still defensively, a bit of naivety defending from Ireland at times, but it's a young team. I think we'll improve on that. But no, overall good. Obviously need to be an awful lot better on Monday, but happy enough to be honest.
Yeah, I just think if we can just shore things up from these kind of shots. I did watch the game back earlier on because I was meant to do the final word with one of our lads, Ryan, but I was watching the goals back and I did kind of feel as though the first goal, maybe Kelleher could be doing better there, but then it looks like it takes a nick. At the game, at the time, you couldn't tell if it took a nick or not. You're kind of looking going, well, he's really far out there, maybe he should be getting to it, and he was a bit low. But then, in retrospect, watching it back in the replay, you kind of feel sorry for him in a little bit. And then the second one, I don't think that he could do much about. But I think it's maybe about us kind of closing down. And again, Doherty kind of loses the ball kind of sloppily at that point. He tries to flick it around. Someone gets caught on the hop. They turn us over, and in a quick transition, bang! It's 2-1.
Yeah. No, I agree. To be honest, I thought Kelleher got a lot of kind of undeserved criticism after the game. I mean, that's not just me talking with my Liverpool hat on. But to be honest, as you said, Paul, with the second goal, I don't think he could have done anything because the deflection was so close to him. So, I mean, it's really tough to keep that out. But yeah, the first goal, to be honest, I just put it more, as you said, about closing down, Paul, to be honest, just a little bit of naivety. I mean, obviously you can't do that against France. They will punish you. But even against teams like, as you've seen, against Latvia, Armenia, I think it was even Luxembourg, what was it, last year? That was outside the box. Good players will punish you. It might be a 1 in a million kind of freak goal, but it can happen.
Yeah, I just think part of me is thinking, is it down to luck, or are we inviting kind of these types of shots on? Now, in the stadium, it felt as though that Uldrikis, it felt as though he had all the time in the world in the shot. But when you watch it back on the telly again, he actually didn't have all the time in the world, because he literally kind of takes it a little bit past Jason Malumbi, and before Malumbi had a chance to kind of really get close to him, and I think he stuck the foot out, and that's what it looks like it deflects off. Before he knew it was in, so it wasn't really a case of that. But when you're watching it kind of in real time, it does feel almost as though time had stopped and it just went boom, and everybody, it silenced the stadium. Everybody was in a total shock.
Yeah, actually, just watching the highlights back as well afterwards. I mean, obviously you were there, Paul, but the stadium just fell completely silent. But yeah, I mean, it was as I said, like kind of a bit of a 1 in a million strike, to be honest. I don't think I knew any of those Latvian players playing the last night. What was it, Uldrikis, did you say?
Yeah.
Uldrikis, yeah. And it was a great strike. I mean, yeah, you can pin it on the goalkeeper and say he shouldn't be getting beat from 30 yards out, but when you watch it back, it was right in the top corner. So it's difficult to save even for Kelleher. But no, it was a great goal. To be honest, I'd pinpoint the second goal more than I would the first.
Yeah, well, obviously there was the kind of heading the ball and players not communicating. Obviously that needs to we can't afford any slip ups. I was at the press conference today ahead of the France game, and Darragh O'Shea was coming out saying, we can't afford to switch off at all. We need full concentration, and we need to be, be at the top of our game, because if we're not at the top of our game, we won't beat France. Like, obviously the aim is to beat France. Whether we do or not, that's a totally different thing, because we know, how good their squad is. But from an Irish point of view, do you think we could snatch a Germany, Shane Long type of result when everybody's kind of writing us off, and we come out and get a result like that? It would be an absolutely huge result for Stephen Kenny. We think of the Portuguese game that we had where we lost with 2 late goals. That was such a good performance, but if we could put in performance like that, shore up the goals, we could be talking about a historic night on Monday night. I say could be now. I'm not getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. No, to be honest, like, being realistic, do I see us beating them? I don't. I don't. But, I do think, being the Aviva and, first game of the Euro qualifiers, it's a big game. I do think these players will relish it, and I actually think, if we put in a perfect performance, basically make no mistakes, France miss a few chances, we get a bit lucky, I do think we could pull out a draw. And I think a draw would be incredibly positive. I mean, the thing is, with the Germany game and the likes of that in the past, I think with France, you're coming up against just clearly the best player in the world at the moment, Kylian Mbappe, and he's just so difficult to stop. You've seen that in the World Cup. If we can stop him, we have a great chance of stopping France, but obviously they have a lot more quality as well. But it's one of those, if we keep it to 0-0 or at 0-0 as late as possible, you never know. But we will need to score in the game. 100% will need to score in the game to get anything.
2 players that you would have had your eye on recently, Evan Ferguson, obviously with Brighton, and Konate at Liverpool, who you'd be watching closely. You spoke about goals there, and one player who's in a real rich vein of form at the moment and shown real promise at the age of 18 is Evan Ferguson. He's did he play against Konate before in the cup?
Yeah, I think so. When they beat us 1-0, I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, no, he did. He scored against us, didn't he?
No,
he scored against us.
He got injured by Fabinho.
Oh, yeah, that was really late in the game, though. That was 85th minute. He didn't score in that game. No, I was thinking, did he score against us in the 3-0?
No, I think his goals in the Premier League were against Everton, Arsenal, Leicester, and then there was a couple of FA Cup goals then after that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I remember, though, he was good in that FA Cup game. He was good. Obviously, there was a lot of uproar afterwards about Fabinho's tackle. I mean, it was a really poor tackle. I'm glad that he came off okay. Well, they thought he was going to miss this game because of it, yeah.
Yeah. It was only a few weeks, though, really, that injury. I think he missed Brighton's next game or the game after.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad
like
as the first period,
yeah. Yeah, but no, he's been excellent. He's been excellent, and even just watching him against Grimsby there the last day. I mean, just what was it, a second goal? The way he controlled the ball and just kind of slotted it past the keeper. I mean, he's got everything, and the maturity he shows at 18 years of age is incredible. I almost think it would be kind of a disappointment if he doesn't go to the top, because he's got everything to his game. He's athletic, he's not slow, he's good in the air, he's good with his 2 feet. So he's an excellent player. He's really promising for Ireland, that's for sure. And to see him score on his first start is just great. He could be a big player on Monday, absolutely. I hope so.
Yeah, but I think just the emergence of having a player who other teams are actually fearing. I'm not saying France are fearing him, but there is a lot of, everybody's wary of him at the moment. But I think that actually works to our advantage, and his hold-up play as well. Someone mentioned it in the press conference earlier, just about his hold-up play for his age, is excellent. Chiodozio Bene said it. And he was saying that it allows other players then to get up in support, and we maybe haven't had that in the past. I think Adam Idah is the only one with a bit noticeable size about him. That's probably been put up there as Stephen Kenny's kind of focal point since David McGoldrick has retired. So I think having Ferguson there, it allows other players to get around, your Obafemis and your Troy Parrots and or Benes, these types of players, which allows them to get forward, or your midfielders, Will Smallbone or someone like that, breaking from deep into the opposition's box. So I think that's also what he brings to the table, as well as obviously a goal threat, an aerial threat, and he's good with his feet too. But I think the best thing about Ferguson at the moment is, even if he's not scoring, he's still affecting games, or he's having a part to play in terms of the build-up. Like, he had a part to play the build-up for O'Dowda's goal. So I think either if he's not scoring, he's still a problem for teams, and I think that's what we've probably lacked for a number of years, is just having someone who the opposition probably fear.
Yeah, absolutely a focal point, as you said, Paul. Like, I mean, I love McGoldrick. I think McGoldrick was great, but the fact of the matter is he didn't score that many goals. And looking at Evan Ferguson already, what has he got? 4 in the Premier League for Brighton. He got 2 against Grimsby last weekend. You might talk about the opposition being Grimsby, but the quality of the goals he actually scores too are really, really good. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, obviously we've seen somebody like Robbie Keane in the past score so many goals for Ireland. He could be similar to that. I'm not saying he will be another Robbie Keane or something like that, but there's definitely the potential there for we actually have a prolific goal scorer, and I don't remember the last time Ireland has actually had a prolific goal scorer in that team, which is a huge positive.
Yeah, I think that's where we've been lacking. I just see there Antoine Griezmann has given France a 1-0 lead over Netherlands already. So,
yeah, he's having a great season.
So I suppose,
he's an excellent player.
Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't. I was just saying he was an excellent player. He is an excellent player, Paul. Yeah, to be honest, I think he was the biggest surprise of the World Cup because, I watched him previously and he was good. Like, I mean, he was putting in decent performances, but he was just sensational at the World Cup. I mean, he just makes that French team tick. As you said, when we were chatting just before, you'd nearly be as worried of Griezmann as you would Mbappe. He can score, he can create. He's just a nuisance. Like, Ireland, I think, nearly need to have him man-marked on Monday, as Mbappe as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because it was in the second minute as well.
Second minute.
Yeah, I think it's 7 minutes in now, but he scored in the second minute. But I think he's coming into this camp with a real point to prove to Deschamps that he should have been the captain. And I think that, for me, I think that's a danger, because if that is the case, a motivated and determined Griezmann is a dangerous player. Should we know from Euro 2016 how dangerous he can be, and Mbappe we know as well. So, like, realistically, we don't have a world class player in our squad right now. Our best player is probably Seamus Coleman, and people might say I'm just saying that because I'm an Everton fan, but realistically, he's the only one playing regularly at Premier League level. He's not world class. He probably was for a period, but he's still a good player. But they have an array of talent and world-class players at their disposal. I mean, just looking at their squad there, I mean, the players they have on the bench, Olivier Giroud, you've got Thuram there, you've got Camavinga, you've got Diaby, Pavard as well, and then the players, obviously, that they have. I mean, Griezmann's playing out of position as, like, a midfielder to suit the other players up front. So you got Kingsley Coman, who is so dangerous, and for me, I'd be very wary of him as well because he's just such a good player. Like, didn't he come on against us in the Euros in 2016 and completely changed the game and won France the game? Colin Mawani, he looked good in the World Cup. Thought he done well in the World Cup.
He's having a good season too, Mawani.
Yeah, I don't know who he's playing for, but I watched him in the World Cup and I was impressed by him. Mbappe, I mean, we don't really need to talk too much about him.
Yeah.
We know how good he is. But his ego might be the downfall of him in this game. I mean, if he's not having a good game or anything like that, he might decide to kind of be selfish about it. But then again, he might just turn it on like he did in the World Cup, like the final, the way he just out of nowhere turned it on, you know?
Yeah, he just needs one moment, doesn't he? I mean, like in that final against Argentina, it was about 70 minutes or something like that, or 75 minutes. I don't know, but they got the penalty, and he just looked
2-0
incredible after
France.
that.
Sorry, 2-0 France.
2-0 France.
In the 8th minute.
Like, that's crazy. That is crazy, because I really thought France would win, but I thought it would be close, but it doesn't look like it's going to be close. But yeah, Mbappe is the kind of player I remember saying years ago to somebody, I forget who it was, but Liverpool played PSG in the Champions League, and Mbappe did absolutely nothing. We won 3-2, and Mbappe did absolutely nothing the entire game, but then he just pops up in like the 85th minute and scores a great goal. Like, Mbappe just needs one moment. Like, if you just give him a chance, he'll score. It was the same in that World Cup final. He did very, very little until he actually got that penalty, and he really could have won it for them in the end. Martinez made a good save later on, and obviously Moani really should have won it for France in the end. But yeah, Mbappe is just ridiculous. I mean, whoever is marking Mbappe on Monday has just an absolutely enormous role to play.
I think it's going to be a double up job. I think it could well be Seamus Coleman and Matt Doherty on the same side, maybe, or something like that. You could potentially see. I don't know. I don't think Stephen Kenny will change the formation from a 3-5-2, but I think whoever is playing maybe on that right wing back, right centre back side might get the most protection on the pitch, and then you need someone like a Josh Cullen sitting right in front of Griezmann to try and close him off. But look, it's not going to be an easy task, because I spoke earlier about one player we have that might occupy them. They have about 5 or 6 from the kind of attacking point of view, and still they've let players like Varane retire from international football, Lloris, but they still have an array of talent that, like, their C team, I think players from their C team would probably walk into our team. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful sense about our team, but they just have such an abundance of quality, and they always have. They've been a conveyor belt for talent up for a number of years, going way back to Platini and probably before that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's ridiculous. I mean, like, even if you look at that midfield, like, you've Tchouameni, you've Rabiot, you've Griezmann. I mean, Rabiot's having a great season for Juventus over in Italy. I mean, there's an awful lot of talk of Rabiot possibly getting a bigger move in the summer, especially if Juve don't make Champions League. And Tchouameni is a ridiculous player. And they have Camavinga as well. Like, I mean, I don't know if Camavinga's in the squad, but
he's on the bench there today.
He's on the bench. Like, I mean, Camavinga is such a good footballer. I mean, he was excellent against us a few weeks ago for Real Madrid. I mean, he's an excellent footballer. So they just have, as you said, Paul, an absolute abundance, array of talent. There's quality everywhere. And then for me, as well at the back, Koundé, Kanate, Theo Hernandez. I mean, all great players. You mentioned Varane there. Mainan is having a good season as well for AC Milan. He's been a good goalkeeper for many years, so they don't really have any weakness, to be honest. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, our best quality is our togetherness, our fight. A real kind of Irish thing. It's our spirit that will get us the result, I think, and that's kind of what we have to rely on. I don't think we're going to be relying on an absolutely world-class performance by an Evan Ferguson. I think we have to be realistic here and remember that he's 18. I had called for fans beforehand just to remember that he is 18. If he doesn't have a good game against France, don't write him off. It's not the end of him. I don't think that'll phase him either way. But we will be looking for everybody to have a good, solid 8 to 9 out of 10 game where we are absolutely brilliant defensively. It might take a Gavin Bazunu masterclass, but I think
absolutely.
But I'd take it. As long as if we can get something from this. I mean, they're 2-0 up against the Netherlands already.
Like, I mean, they have quality Netherlands. I mean, they they got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup and they were beaten by the winners on penalties. So I mean, it's a bit of a scary challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's where we're at. But look, just to kind of coming into the last bit of the preview, just in your opinion, this might be a difficult one for you to choose, but your score prediction, we usually kind of go for score predictions. And now, look, you might have a different opinion from your heart to your head, but what are you feeling going into the game?
To be honest, I'd rather be optimistic than kind of realistic. Well, probably realistic. A lot of people would say my predictions for Liverpool are the same, but no. I mean, I never watch a game with any of my teams playing and just say in my head that we're going to lose. I never do that, so I'll be optimistic. France will score in the first half. Ireland will defend relatively well. France will miss a lot of chances. Ireland will have one or two chances in the counter-attack, and Evan Ferguson will score a late equaliser, 1-1, I'll say.
I'd be banking on that myself. That would be fantastic. But what we call a 1-1 draw, famously, we've said that on the channel numerous times against big sides. But you know what? It's hard for me to say that we're going to get a result. It really is. I want to say 1-1, but I feel like we're going to get beat 1-0.
Fair, yeah.
And again, 1-0. There's no harm in losing to France 1-0. Look, if we get a result, and I hope I'm wrong. So look, if you're a betting man, don't listen to me. But I'm just saying, in a general sense, I just feel like they'll just have too much quality for us.
Yeah.
And I don't think Stephen Kenny's going to change the way he plays in terms of being resolute, robust, and sitting in and parking the bus is kind of what we need to do. And he's not really done that against the bigger teams.
No.
I mean, we tend to play better against bigger teams. If we can replicate a performance against Portugal, I'd be happy. Genuinely happy. Yeah. Even if we lost, I'd be genuinely happy because I could feel proud of the team that they went a goal up and gave it a real shot. And that's...
Yeah, and it was just the brilliance of Ronaldo, really, in that game at the end. You know, I mean, it was just that top level, that top quality that won that game for Portugal. I mean, if we won that game, we wouldn't have been undeserved winners of that game at all. That was just a real kick in the teeth. I mean, Ronaldo had to show up at the end and just single-handedly win it for Portugal. Yeah, as you say, if we can replicate something like that, Paul, Mbappe is a lot better than Ronaldo, I would say, at the moment. But, you know, it's 90 minutes, anything can happen. I'll definitely choose to be hopeful. But, as you say, I mean, 1-0 wouldn't be any disgrace. So 1-0 would be a good result and a positive result for this Irish team. I agree. I don't think we're going to get battered. I think it will be close. And, yeah, if it's 1-0, if it's 2-0, it's a fighting Irish performance. There's positives to take. I mean, I'll be happy.
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is that we just don't fold. And in fairness, under Kenny's management, I actually haven't seen this team fold once. I know we've got beaten by lesser teams, Luxembourg's and Finland's, but we've never really folded to the point of capitulation. So I have a little bit of faith that we'll pull something out. I'd love to win the game. I just don't feel like we will, but I would absolutely I'd love it actually more so just for Kenny, because I feel like he deserves at least one big result during his reign, you know. And
he's a good guy, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and what a good start that would be to, you know, if we got 3 points on the board. I mean, then we can kind of be looking upwards rather than kind of going, oh, Greece and Gibraltar, we have to worry about. If we can get 3 points, it'd be amazing. But look, I'm not saying we will. We will have to wait and see. But as well as that, because we're doing this now and they're currently playing, someone might get injured in the process between now and Monday. So I'm not saying I'm hoping that they do, but they may well get injured in the process.
Yeah. I think if Ireland actually did win or somehow win on Monday, it would, for me, being 25 years old, be the greatest win I've ever seen Ireland get. I think that's a fair thing to say. I think it would be better than the Shane Long goal against world champions Germany years ago. I just think this France team is just ridiculous, and Mbappe is, I think, the best player in the world for the next 10 years more. I honestly think it would top that if Ireland somehow came away with 3 points.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose we'll let the people in the comments let us know what they think in regards to the result. Do you think we could beat France? Are you optimistic going into it? I know a lot of you are very 50-50 with Kenny. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're on TikTok, you probably know Jonathan. So make sure you give him a follow. And he's on Instagram there. I put his handle under his name there, Jonathan Morley 97. So you can follow him there as well. Jonathan, huge thanks for coming on. Really appreciate your time.
Pleasure, Paul. Thank you very much. And up the boys in green.
Up.
Definitely, there is a lot of talent. Like this squad, I didn't really know much people who would have been involved. And then when I seen the team show, I was like, yeah, this is actually a good